Hello, hello. So today we're going to talk about map generation. There were a couple of people that have requested or were curious about how the map gets generated. So let's get down to it. It's a very simple process. So I decided to just make a very basic video. So the first step is to actually get a black and white texture going. So you generate this black and white texture off of a reference image, as you can see. Feel free to pick any reference image that you enjoy, and you just make provinces just like this, right? Yeah, just export it. And yeah, so this is the first step. What is the next step? The next step is to use Houdini. You can use, you can either code the algorithm yourself to generate the meshes. Some games, most Paradox games tend to do that. But I found that using Houdini was much easier, and it's already essentially there for you to use, right? Like you don't need to code anything complicated. There's still complicated scripts and things in Godot itself when you reach to it, but I think Houdini helps alleviate, especially like if you look at the quality of these edges, it looks really good. So yeah, so you take that black and white image, and then you generate the meshes this way. As you can see, these are all newly added provinces. The node that I'm using here, just for the sake of argument, is the trace node. And what you can do is, off of this, you can just save this as a geometry, and then you can save it out as in any file format that you wish for. So yeah, so you take your black and white texture, import it into Houdini, export it, and now you have a mesh. So what you're gonna do with the mesh? So the next step is to import it into Blender. I already pre-imported it, as you can see here. And then yeah, these are, you can observe your individual meshes here. So now you have meshes. How do you actually get this into Godot, right? So the next step is to simply copy this blend file into your working data of Godot and open it up. So this is the blend scene that I want to call it. And here I just literally reference the .blend file and edit it by itself. As you can see, this is a fantasy map.blend, which is this blend file. And if you're looking at the top right corner of my screen, you can see all the different provinces here, right? And when you import into Godot, you have exactly the same Blender scene structure as in the game. So if you go back to the editor, here are your provinces 002, 003, and so on and so forth, and the background as well. So yeah, so this is how you get it into Godot, right? But now, how do you author ownership? How do you generate connectivity or neighbors, right? Because one of the things, if you open up, let's say, if you mod any Paradox game, you will know that each province has a unique color. And the reason for that is because you need to know unique IDs for each province. The reason why I don't need it here, and you can just use just a very basic and simple black and white texture, is because each one of these nodes is already unique by itself. So since it's already unique by itself, that problem is essentially solved, right? It does introduce another problem though, which is you need to generate neighbors in a different way. But for that I have a bunch of map editor commands or editor commands that Godot has support for. And yeah, which allow me to essentially generate all these collision meshes, as you can see, and shapes, as well as set up all this type of neighbors, as you can see here. And ground types, neighbor counts, and factions as well. So for example, if I want to change the faction of this region, I can just do this, right? So this is all custom built in Godot itself. But yeah, if you just want to get a bunch of meshes based off of a texture, this is how you do it technically. Yeah. One thing before I go is I know that this is a flat map. So this technique allows you to generate flat maps very quickly. What about 3D maps? Let's say if you want to actually have proper terrain editing in the sense of a massive ravine or based off a height map. Well, my friends, you can do that, but that'll probably become for a next video, which I'll be doing some experiments on how to do that. Before I go, I do want to show a bigger experiment that I've been doing as well. I think it's, yeah, there you go. So this is the entire map of Europe. Well, not just of Europe, North Africa, India, all the way to the edges of China. And then, yeah, as you can see, the provinces are looking quite nice. That's the reason why I really like using Houdini, because if I were doing this through code, there would be a lot of polish that I would need to do. But yeah, as always, this is it. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.